A man leans over a rock, a stone tool in his hand. Early in the morning. He is cold. 9600 BCE. The Ice Age has just ended, but the world is still cold and harsh. Much of Europe is still covered in ice. Sea levels are dozens of meters lower than today. And this man, we do not know his name, but he existed, wakes up in the morning, searches for game, returns to the fire at night. That is the whole of life. It was like this yesterday. It will be like this tomorrow. But this morning, he goes to a different place. In the mountains of Samyurfa, hundreds, perhaps thousands of people gather at one spot. They come from different groups, from different valleys. They may not fully understand each other's language, but they walk in the same direction. And there, on the ridge of the mountain, there is something that needs to be done. The stones weigh 20 tons. Each one. They are dragged from kilometers away, using rope, wood, and human strength. No wheels, no animal traction, only hands, backs, and perhaps a very powerful belief. They carve T-shaped, colossal pillars. Some are 6 meters tall. And onto these pillars, they carve something, everything they fear. Snakes, scorpions, wild boars, aggressive lions, giant cranes. As if whatever lurks in the darkness, they want to pour it into stone. Perhaps because what is poured into stone no longer remains outside. History textbooks considered this impossible. For such a structure, agriculture would have been necessary first. Without agriculture, people cannot gather in one place, because everyone must find their own food. Without agriculture, there is no surplus. Without surplus, no specialization. Without specialization, no architect, no workers, no organization. That was the order. That is how it happened in Mesopotamia. That is how it happened in Egypt. It was always this order. First agriculture, then the city, then the temple. Göbekli Tepe completely reversed that order. The oldest layers here date to 9600 BCE, at least 1,000 years before the beginning of agriculture. Which means these people, while still hunter-gatherers, still nomadic, still without a fixed place, built something like this. What does this mean? Perhaps it was not hunger that brought people together. Perhaps belief came before agriculture. Perhaps the temple gave birth to the village, not the village to the temple. Perhaps the religious need is older than the economic one. This idea fundamentally changes the way we understand human history. What do the animals on the pillars mean? No one knows for sure. And this uncertainty is what makes Göbekli Tepe even greater. Some researchers say it was a calendar to track star positions, seasons, harvest times. A map of the sky carved into stone. Others go further. This was an observatory built with astronomical precision, aligned to track specific star clusters. And some say something much bolder. Here lie the traces of a lost civilization, one that vanished in prehistory, completely unknown to us. We do not know enough to definitively reject any of these. Not yet, because only 5% of Göbekli Tepe has been excavated. We still have not seen what lies beneath the soil. But this much we know. About 1,000, perhaps 1,500 years later, these people, or their descendants, returned to Göbekli Tepe, and they buried it, ton after ton of soil and rubble, carefully, deliberately, covering every corner. It was not an earthquake, not a war, not an accident. They did it on purpose. They closed it with their own hands. Why? We do not know. Perhaps it was a farewell. It is finished. This place's time has passed. Let us return it to the earth. Perhaps a prohibition. No one should come here again. This knowledge must be lost. Perhaps a protection, to hide what is inside, to preserve it forever. Indeed, because of that cover, it was so well preserved. Perhaps burying it was, for those people, the deepest expression of respect. The same way they buried their dead. It waited for 10,000 years. In 1994, a shepherd found it by chance. He saw a strange shape on the surface of a stone. They called archaeologists. And since that day, researchers from all over the world have been working on this hill, and they still cannot fully hide their astonishment. Sometimes I think about this. That morning, in 9600 BCE, the man carrying the stone, tired, cold, his hands bleeding, must have stopped for a moment and looked up. At the rising pillar, at the snake carved upon it, at the mountains on the horizon. And what did he feel? Fear? Pride? Or just this? I have done something. I have left a mark. I have proven that I was here. 12,000 years later, we are still searching for his trace. and we are finding it. Those people were searching for meaning. They wanted to build something greater than death. They carved the things they feared into stone because perhaps the only way to face great fears is to give them form. They looked at the sky because the sky was the one constant thing. While everything changed, the stars remained in the same place. We are still doing the same thing. We just use different materials instead of stone. If you would like more videos like this, please subscribe to our channel and like this video.